and gentlemen, welcome to episode 3 of the Portal Gun Podcast. We're coming to you live from the Dude's Room.
Hey, it's called the Lair.
In,
the underground lair.
Welcome to the Midwest, where it was 7 degrees yesterday and 50 degrees today. So, anyway, welcome to the Portal Gun Podcast. All things Rick and Morty. Quality upgrade, as you can kind of see. We're here doing big things. I am Jeff Wilson, as always, with Isaac Mason.
That's me.
Yeah, it's been a couple months. Got a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff brewing.
Gotta grab my episode checklist, man. We got a lot to talk about.
We gotta. Yep. Yeah, we do. Yeah. So first of all, I just want to make a couple announcements real quick.
Okay.
Couple things have kind of been updated in the series in terms of like content. Obviously, the big thing that came out was the Super Bowl commercial, the Pringles Super Bowl commercial, which was airing obviously during the Super Bowl.
Right.
Hilarious, and it spawned a new generation of memes that are out now of the wall ripping all over the subreddit. So if you're on the subreddit, that's all it is. It's just the same meme over
and even if you're not a Rick and Morty fan and you watch the Super Bowl, now you know.
Yeah, now you know. Yeah, I think also just like a sidebar, any subreddit is just the same meme over and over and over again.
Should it just be called...
Nobody does the courtesy of looking up if the meme's been posted.
Someone start meme it so we can just move all those
all of them to one area. It's Reddit, but just memes. There we go. Copyright that right now.
Please do.
Yeah, so a couple things happen in the Rick and Morty universe. First of all, the big thing I think is going to be the announcement from Krispy Kreme Australia only.
This is awesome, dude.
Krispy Kreme Australia only, that there's going to be Rick and Morty themed donuts.
Yes.
Obviously, we all remember, if you've been around...
Sad experience of... a really
Szechuan
popular series
incident.
trying to, the whole blow up of that episode. I forget which one it was, but the Szechuan sauce. And I don't know, was it the one? I don't know if it was a TikTok clip or a Vine at the time, whatever it was. But there's like some kid standing on top of a McDonald's counter acting a fool like Rick or something, like back and like, it's so sad. But
yeah, and that's honestly, we've talked about it before, kind of been something kind of a noteworthy event in like the fandom, and it's like you know what,
it makes the series and fans look bad.
Yeah, I love the show
a
lot, and I loved the taste of the Szechuan sauce. Not enough to go to someone's workplace and harass them. This has been covered and said over a million times, so we don't have to go into it. But anyway, in the same vein,
that Krispy Kreme can handle the endorsement of the Rick and Morty series a little better. And honestly, when I read what you put on there, they're bringing it to Australia, and the reason why I think that they're doing it in Australia is I think that is a specific choice by Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland in order to make sure that Krispy Kreme might be a global brand, but if they leave it limited to a certain audience, maybe if it goes well in Australia, then maybe it'll come to Krispy Kreme's here. But they got to first double check and make sure that this isn't going to be a terrible PR experience and give Krispy Kreme and Rick and Morty another bad name in the fast-moving pace of internet news.
Szechuan, I mean, they got bombarded. And people, and I had the Szechuan sauce was extremely good. I liked it a lot.
Did you have it the original time though? You remember? I forget how old we were when Mulan came
That was like 95, so
we were only like
there's 96.
Yeah.
Fact check us on that.
Definitely.
Whenever the original.
If you still have some original Szechuan sauce, you're probably not going to send it to us.
Yeah, don't eat that.
Send us the eBay link for it.
But I never had it back in the day, but I had it when they rebooted it, and there was nothing like necessarily Rick and Morty themed about it. They were just like, oh, this is our time to capitalize on that.
Yep.
And what a poor mistake that was.
It really was. Yeah.
It was just.
But this time around, they got donuts. They got three different items, right? They've got a simple. Let's see. They got a Pickle Rick donut, which is a lemon-filled donut topped with a white chocolate pickle.
So on the surface, obviously, you think about Pickle Rick, and
you think pickle.
Yeah. So the picture, if you see it, it's
which we'll put up in post. It should be right here.
Yeah. So the picture, I mean, it's literally a Pickle Rick on top of a donut, and like if you think about a pickle in a donut, that's a terrible thing.
And when I first read it, I thought I mistakenly read it, and I was like, why would they serve you a donut with a pickle?
Yeah, I'm like, man, that's just how it is in Australia. I don't know, but like,
I was thinking like a white chocolate covered pickle in the middle of the donut hole.
That's a delicacy somewhere. Somewhere that's awesome. But so no, it's actually just a little
icing
icon
pickle
of Rick.
Kind of white chocolate pickle.
Yeah, it's
covered in
chocolate.
green.
Yeah. What's the other one?
We've also got Simple Rick's Wafer Cookie, which is a strawberry truffle donut filled with a strawberry truffle donut filled with vanilla cream and topped with a crushed wafer. I'm not a big fan of those really cheap wafers like the vanilla and chocolate and strawberry. I don't know what it's gonna look like or taste like.
The fact that it's called Simple Rick's wafer cookie
sounds like a brand I would definitely buy.
That's too funny for me for words. But yeah, that's
the last one they got though is definitely my favorite, dude. It's gonna be they got 4 things. I thought they only had 3.
Yeah, the strawberry smiggles.
And yeah, strawberry smiggles is a strawberry filled glazed donut dipped in white chocolate truffle and topped with a mini marshmallow, crushed meringue, and big sprinkles. That's pretty decadent for a Krispy Kreme donut.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's already like over the top. And then if you watch the show, you think about the strawberry smiggles commercial. You think about they got my smiggles, and they're eating them out of the intestines.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're eating them out of the intestines, the kids, during interdimensional cable. Yeah, dude.
That's awesome. I just watched that again with my girlfriend and Ansa Miles Johnson.
Dude.
Kills me every time.
Yeah, strawberry smiggles is, It's
going to be good. Well, hopefully we'll see some funny footage of somebody trying to eat it out of.
Yeah, exactly. The last thing, though, is my favorite.
Definitely, dude. Go ahead and read it. Let's tell us about it.
Okay, yeah, so the last thing they got the 3 donuts, and the last thing is what they've called fleep juice,
which we all know. If you know about how plumbuses are made, it's part of the plumbus process, and it's vital to the plumbus process.
Yes.
If the fleep juice wasn't around, there wouldn't be any plumbuses.
Yeah.
And thank God for the
we need the fleep juice, and now Krispy Kreme is making it an actual reality.
Right.
It is a milkshake made by combining the raspberry and blue heaven flavors.
Sounds so good.
So
I don't even know what blue heaven tastes like.
So I gave up sugar this year, like added sugar, like sweets and stuff, and like reading about this, I am like so craving all of it. Like they all make it sound so good, and the pictures, like as you can see, look phenomenal. Fleep juice.
How's the sugar give up going for you?
It's all right. I'm good. It's good. Honestly, like you get like late night cravings of just something sweet. But other than that,
always.
You just gotta
go
to bed.
I'm the person who will lay in bed and shove their mouth full and like eat and wake up with the wrapper.
Yeah, honestly, that could be me at any point in time. But I'm just like, you know what?
Right.
I'm just going to forget about it. But yeah, so like, honestly, all these products look awesome. And the fact that the Krispy Kreme is actually putting in the effort and the time, like obviously Rick and Morty as a brand is a growing brand. Like it's a money maker in itself, but the fact that you're going so far to make these, like, it's not like here's Morty's favorite donut, and it's just like a yellow donut or something.
They're putting a little bit more into the endorsement of what they're actually putting out.
And it's, like show specific. Like this is the kind of like inducing products. Like I want more of these things for other things.
It feels like someone at Krispy Kreme is a true fan of Rick and Morty, and they worked with someone with Rick and Morty on their team and was like, hey, we want to do this. We can do this. Let's try to do it carefully. And I don't know about how many you've been to, but have you ever been to a Krispy Kreme here in America in the morning? They literally make all the donuts in the place, and like a lot of them,
you can watch them being made.
Yeah, they have a glass window, and it's like a display, so you can see them. Because I don't know if you've ever made donuts at home. Like you can go buy like biscuit dough and like oil and cook donuts at home. It's made out of the same dough and decorate them yourself, but watching them be made, that then they don't come in an Intimates box or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of a cool process. And then at the end, you go to the cash register and you get a hot, warm donut.
It's warm. It's the best thing ever. And so think about like a warm Pickle Rick donut. Can be yours.
Made
topped
fresh
off
that morning.
Yeah, topped off with fleep juice. But yeah, so like I said, it's almost like they're diving into like the Star Wars kind of like level of marketing and level of like really getting in touch with the fandom. So Star Wars obviously has, Galaxy's Edge, which is the Star Wars land at Disney World and Disneyland respectively.
Just opened within the last year or so, right?
Yes, but like everything in there is like so specific to the brand, to the saga, to like, and if you are, and the thing is, it just works on so many levels. If you are crazy into the lore and crazy into anything that has to do with Star Wars, any of the specifics, if you love a certain aspect of the series, like that is represented.
Yeah.
But if you're not into it, you're still gonna love it because it all looks cool.
It doesn't take away from it at all.
Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. Like this is a grade A idea for Krispy Kreme. Like if you're not into the show, it's a good tasting donut. It looks cool. It's funny. It's topical.
I wonder how many people are gonna get into Rick and Morty.
Like I want a large fleep juice, please. Like I want to say that. Listen to me. I'll say this right. I will break my no sugar 2020 diet if these products come to America. Okay, and there you have it.
So yeah. Well, hopefully in the future we'll be opening the episode with fleep juice in hand. That'd be a dream come true.
There it is. Yeah, that's really all. That's the best.
And hopefully somebody gets to experience interdimensional cable because of the Rick and Morty exposure just through Krispy Kreme. That's what I hope, is that a Krispy Kreme fan becomes a Rick and Morty fan.
There you go. Yeah, and like I said, if you're a super fan, you're gonna know those references right away, and you're gonna get it, and you're like, oh god, I'm gonna buy that because I'm into it. And if you're not a fan, you're gonna be like, cool, I'm down with that. Yeah, and then that's just, if it works on both levels, that's it. That's A+. That's 100%. That's grade A. What else do you want?
And then let's just hope that they don't choose to not bring it to America again, because they're like, all right, we're well in Australia, let's just keep it in Australia. I'm like, nah.
Yeah. I almost want to just go to Australia and just... Like, is there a Krispy Kreme in, like, an airport, like the Sydney airport?
Yeah.
That I could just go to the airport, hang out for a couple hours.
I just want to pay airfare.
Make, like, the 18-hour flight back, like, worth 36 hours round trip, or however long it takes. Fact check just on that.
Right, yeah. If this podcast really blows up, you guys will get to see that experience.
I will document everything. Me flying to Sydney or wherever.
That would be the portal.
In the airport.
We'll step in the portal and go to Australia. That's
and there
awesome,
it is.
though.
And that is how it happens, ladies and gentlemen. So.
We of course love some donuts, but we also love movies. And there's no Rick and Morty podcast, but our next news segment is going to be about Doctor Strange 2, right?
Yeah, so another cool piece of information that came out recently within the last month is Michael Waldron.
You're a big Marvel guy too, right?
I'm a big Marvel guy, yeah.
I am not. I've seen a few of them.
Yeah, and that's, once again...
Keep going, my bad.
Yeah, well, Doctor Strange 2 is going to come out probably within the next year or so. I'm assuming 2021. They've been kind of going back and forth with who's going to be the director, who's going to be writing it, who's going to be, heading up all of the production staff. And they just announced that Mr. Waldron is going to be heading the writing for Doctor Strange 2, which is called The Multitude of Madness. It's supposed to be kind of like a horror type. They're kind of they've hinted at it being kind of like a horror type Marvel movie, which has never been really done.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Michael is that he's already head of production for the Loki series that's going to be on Disney Plus this year. So he's already got his hands full, and he's already like knee deep in Marvel stuff already. And now they're asking him to head up the writing for the second Doctor Strange movie.
That's
the first one was wildly successful.
Who directed the first one?
Who directed? No, I don't remember, dude.
But the only reason I think of that is because Doctor Strange, of the Marvel movies I have seen, Doctor Strange was one that was very visually pleasing. Like, I feel like the special effects budget might have been a little higher for Doctor Strange because all the crazy, weird visual stuff they had to do because of Doctor Strange's strangeness, I guess. Yeah. But that, I think, is also part of the reason why a director would be so hard to try to get on contract, because there's... Well, I don't know if they already have the script written and all that, but to try to get a director along with a team of people... Because, shooting Game of Thrones, no one's actually riding dragons. When you're filming and directing this stuff... It
takes an aspiring director to kind of form the vision.
Exactly, yeah. Especially if it's like a Doctor Strange weird multi-universal
And I think
story.
with Doctor Strange 2, I mean, they've talked about Sam Raimi, who's done Evil Dead, to direct. Michael is going to be writing it. And he's credited as producer as every episode of season 4 so far.
Okay.
He's actually credited as a producer online.
I didn't realize that.
He's also has the writing credit here for the second episode, The Old Man in the Seat. He actually has a writing credit for that. So for him to be a writer on this new movie it's great. I think that's a great choice.
And definitely with the madness of Rick and Morty combined with the madness of Marvel, that's like a perfect recipe for
what a better gig
direction.
to be than to be involved with in Marvel.
Maybe there'll be a little hidden Easter egg in the movie of Rick and Morty reference.
And honestly, Rick and Morty, if you guys just enter the Marvel universe, that's perfect.
It's all there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, that's your eatery and your entertainment in Rick and Morty news. But we've got a little bit more in the world of comic books for Rick and Morty. Yeah. So
the thing with Rick and Morty right now, obviously, it's been kind of trying for the fans between the shows. The cool thing about it is there's still a lot of great content being released through comics. And comics, obviously, not always physical. You can get them digitally also online. But the comic series, which I just kind of started reading a little bit, I haven't been able to catch up on the current Rick and Morty main series because they're already 60 issues in. And
that's crazy.
I just...
You only get,
spoiler alert, I'd never read digital comics. I'm always been a physical guy.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to pick up the actual issues, and good luck finding 60 issues of something in one spot. So I've been kind of put that off. I know people read kind of the trades, the graphic novels that kind of put them together, but I just have not put any energy into that. Maybe I will soon. But the cool thing about it is Rick and Morty number 59, the main series, is coming out. The cover looks like this. That's what it looks like. Pretty awesome. Rick versus Morty. It's the issue everyone has been waiting for. Morty's been brainwashed to kill his grandpa, and we're finally going to answer the question of who will really win Also, maybe the beginning and the end of the universe. Part 4 of the 5-part story, The Reckoning, that comes out very soon, February 26th, in 3 or 4 days or something. Whenever this gets released.
Yes.
February 26th is when it's coming out. And then the other series that they have going on right now is called The Rick and Morty Presents. Now, this is the same series that we actually just read the Unity issue.
Okay.
Read the
you did
issue recently.
Did me a favor picking that up.
Yeah, I got it.
I haven't got to read it yet, dude. I was really mad because I was going to read it before you came over today and realized I left it at my girlfriend's house last night to read it last night, and I didn't get to it. And
there you go.
Oh, my gosh. I'm a failure.
Sleeping on it. It's okay. That's all right.
But yeah, I do that on purpose, so I still left to discover.
So the Rick and Morty Presents series is kind of like these little stories that they've issued a bunch of different stories that go along with these issues. So there's a Meeseeks issue of just about an extension of the Meeseeks episode essentially, and
tagging
then the
on
Unity
to one of the plot
lines. The Unity plot line is also explored in another issue. This one, however, coming up very soon, Rick and Morty Presents Council of Ricks #1. This is the cover art right here. Looks like a really interesting issue itself. Hired by the Prime Rick Minister himself, Rick Prime is on the hunt for who's been making counterfeit Ricks and selling to planets of rich idiots who could use a genius. But when he discovers that the 5 counterfeit Ricks have escaped into the Citadel, he'll have to assemble a team, a council, if you will, to help him find the fake Ricks and get rid of them, preferably as violently as possible. But who is really behind these counterfeit Ricks and why? And what does this have to do with the gaggle of Jerrys that hides in the subsections of the Citadel? And that comes out on April 15th.
All right.
So I do like these side stories that they do. Obviously, the
Council of Ricks is really cool.
And that is a cool idea in itself. But obviously, the main series of Rick and Morty that's already 60 episodes or 60 issues deep, if you can't get into that right away, these little side stories, these little side quests are something to explore for sure.
Keep you busy and definitely fun,
Yeah. So that's pretty much it in the world of Rick and Morty right now, the announcements.
For new news and what's on the up and happening.
Yeah,
we still don't have an announcement date for the continuation of season 6.
No matter what ridiculous clickbait article that you read, there are no...
There's too many of them.
There are no
wary
updates.
Of which links you click.
Yeah, there are no updates on the... we can always just assume... No, nothing. We can always just assume April for when the return of the second half of season 4. But you know what? We've waited so long before.
Right.
We're patiently waiting for the new episodes, but we're here. We're here enjoying what we have so far. We have a ton of other content to get into. One last exciting announcement on our end.
Okay.
The Portal Gun Podcast is officially official.
On wherever you want to listen to it.
Yeah, wherever you listen to podcasts, we should be there somewhere.
That device you're watching it on right now, whatever service you're watching it on, that's not the only one you can watch it on either. If you want the video format, we got you on YouTube. You can check it out at the Portal Podcast. Just go ahead and search it in there. Whatever you search it on, whatever platform, it should come up. iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and YouTube. We are on all 4 of them now.
Yeah.
The big 4, as they say.
Yeah, the big 4. Yeah, so Portal Gun Podcast, give us a follow. We're putting episodes up as often as we can.
And also our personal social medias should be in the link below, whatever you're listening to it on. Whichever platform, it should be down there if you want to connect with us, follow us, subscribe.
Us on Twitter.
Exactly. Interact with us.
Twitter
we want to talk to you because we like talking about this.
Portal Gun Pod. That is our Twitter handle. Just give us a follow.
Yeah.
We're nice guys. We like Rick and Morty just like you.
Exactly.
But so that's pretty much it in terms of that stuff. I know that we do have kind of a big, heavy subject to talk about today.
Good one. A juicy one.
And it's just gonna, I feel like it's gonna spark a lot of debate, a lot of discussion. Dan Harmon recently posted this Instagram photo.
Yes.
Here's a screen grab of that.
Check it out.
Him with a box of Post-it notes with a bunch of stuff written on them. The caption talks about the story B generator for the what? Rick and Morty movie. The Rick and Morty movie. Just say it.
Is it?
To yourself right now. The Rick and Morty movie. It has a good ring to it.
It does. It rolls off the tongue.
I kind of wish they don't.
No other
there's
title
no
with that,
subtitle to that, or no, no secondary, like the Rick and Morty movie.
And the sequel will be called Back to the Rick and Morty movie.
Yeah, and then you have a whole slew of other references you can go with. But the Rick and Morty movie. So I want to talk about the story B, or the B story generator, real quick.
We kind of talked. We talked about the hypothetical theory of how they come up with really random, funny plot points out of nowhere on some of the episodes, because sometimes you really are watching the show like Interdimensional Cable and you're like, where in the world do these ideas come from?
Yeah.
And this, I think, gives us a little bit of insight into that madness.
Yeah. So, and I had proposed like kind of like a South Park-esque. South Park had made that big Family Guy like 3-episode arc where they talked about how Family Guy gets their jokes. They has to do with like manatees and balls and stuff like that. Like,
push them around.
They have random balls and the manatees pick these random balls and they just form a Family Guy joke, like a that's almost like a Mad Lib. And I had like, well, that's kind of funny. I feel like Rick and Morty does that sometimes. But from the looks of this Instagram photo, if this is real and not trolling, this
Instead
is
of
how...
it's not manatees, it's just a shoebox.
Yeah, just a shoebox filled with Post-it notes, and they just kind of pick one out and said, okay, this is where we're going to throw this one in. The next picture that is
click over
followed by
followed
by the Harmon photo, this one right here, Meow DiCaprio, which... I can just kind of envision literally Leonardo DiCaprio as a cat.
Right.
Yeah. We've already had a big cat character this season, voiced by Matthew Broderick, which is hilarious. So I don't know if that's been explored or not. Maybe they couldn't get Leo for the role.
Yeah.
But either way, once again, it's a funny, silly thing to think about.
I'm kind of sad he only posted one post-it. Yeah,
and I kind of just want to like read more of those, or like, hey, you should just post one of those a day so we can just like figure out. But like, I think they just want to save them for the show.
Those post-it notes are, if they're not still in the shoebox, they may be somewhere in the trash can, and that's like Rick and Morty fandom gold.
Find out where their studio is and start digging through the trash.
If you want to dumpster dive for us,
do you think they shred them? Like, they're like, no, this is too good. This is like, this is like intellectual property theft. Like, you gotta
up to some point, it truly is.
Yeah,
and it's like if those ideas were written by anyone on the cast, it's like those all could have been potential Rick and Morty plot points, which is a wild idea when you have a grab bag full of subjects.
And thinking about it like that, like if this is like not news to anybody else who's been a fan for a long time, if you've known that this is how they get their story Bs or their plot points for the secondary stories, we just discovered this and we feel really cool about it. So if you hate this part of the podcast, sorry, but
or if it's been revealed way beforehand, like any of the process, the creation process that you guys know about that we might not or others might, definitely share and link that to us, because we're
still learning.
Yeah, we're
we want to learn stuff too.
As big of fans as we are not here to hate. We're here to learn more about the show that we love, because it's worth talking about. So
bingo.
Yeah, share us any inside information that you might have. It's funny to me. It's like the music industry, your favorite artists. Like a lot of rappers have leaks and stuff. We need a reliable Rick and Morty leaker. So if you guys are that person, let us know.
We will keep you anonymous. Don't worry.
Exactly. Yeah, your stuff will be leaked safely.
Or if this is public knowledge and we're just we're just new boot goofing over here and overlooking stuff, please holler at us. So anyway, getting back to that, let's talk about the idea of the Rick and Morty movie.
What would it be? How long do you want it to be?
I just think like, if it's going to be an animated movie, I don't know if it's even necessary. Like, it's big enough to hit theaters commercially.
Definitely.
It could hit theaters, maybe even like a limited run of theaters, and it would make money. Like, people would go. But like, you got to think about, how entertainment and how movies and how long, like, aspects of what people want to watch, how is that distributed nowadays?
Right.
And I'm thinking like Netflix will put up, $250 million probably for a Rick and Morty movie.
And
Hulu would rival that for sure.
Insane money, yeah. If it's not going to be a direct-to-theater, it very easily could be contracted to one of the streaming services and gain the same popularity and exposure to the audience. Because that's the nice thing about these series that have such traction with people our age, is we kind of don't care how it comes out. We'll watch it and consume it either way, but monetarily, if they're trying to make money, I would think box office. You know, you get the return on cost for animation and everything. I don't know what kind of numbers one-time streaming movies put up on Netflix and stuff in terms of profit. So it really depends on that kick out through the streaming service. So that's definitely interesting to think about.
Yeah, and like with things that are coming to streaming services right away, like the thing I just always think about is the free trial. Like,
always,
how many people are going to pick up a free trial just to watch or binge or whatever? Yeah, and then just give it away. Like, that's it.
It's
That's
genius.
just how. Yeah, and honestly, like, I know that the movie, like a commercial movie theater release, will be, the most profitable.
And it also could be the most risky, though.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm just not sure if that's really how they want to go about it.
For it, yeah.
And it's unfortunate, because I like going to the movies. I like putting the effort. I like going and like, paying the ticket. I still have I have a lot of ticket stubs I have for movies that I watch, I just like doing that, and just like the idea of going somewhere to watch on a big screen and like with surround sound and going, get snacks or whatever,
exactly.
That's exciting to me for sure. Yeah. And I just think a Rick and Morty movie, if you think about it, an animated feature, it wouldn't be longer than 90 minutes.
I think the 90 is right at where it should be.
And then you got to look at the other thing too, is the rating. If it's rated R, can you really pull an audience from that. So like a big thing, especially this past weekend, is people were pitting for, you know, political or whatever reasons, the new Birds of Prey movie, the Harley Quinn movie, versus the Sonic movie. And of course, Sonic,
in what ways,
freaking blew it out of the... It's, like I said, it might be mildly political. I'm not too, you know, up to date on that kind of stuff, but like, if you look at it, Sonic is going to blow that movie out of the water. Why? Birds of Prey is rated R.
Okay, that's what I was getting ready to say.
Sonic is what, PG? And obviously a family friendly movie is going to freaking make an immense, especially something like a brand like Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Yeah, the main thing there is, like, as big as comic books are, I feel like a whole generation of people didn't grow up playing Harley Quinn. They may have seen it in a movie or so, but... And then I think, there is an audience for that, but like not as big as either a Sonic the Hedgehog audience, if the movie is done well. Which they redid. I saw it and it's very good. But like, you know, a Sonic audience, but like a kids, like a family-friendly audience. Yeah.
Like, people are gonna flock if it's a well-known brand, family-friendly. People are gonna flock to that theater and watch that movie regardless.
Right.
Like, streaming doesn't matter. That's gonna make money.
Their kids.
Yeah.
You know, Rick and Morty is one of those series that adults can appreciate the same way as children, because I think we all have some memory of some children. Like, something we watched as kids and then we revisited as adults and we're like, oh, I didn't understand that adult double entendre that was put in by the writers, because your mind was still innocent.
Yeah.
And not that Rick and Morty, like you said, I think if they keep it PG-13, I think that's their best bet. At 90 minutes, I think it would blow out box office.
Yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen with as much. And honestly, I don't know if I'd want to watch it. If they're holding back for that PG-13 rating, or is anyone interested in watching? Because, like, obviously TV... Well, it doesn't have to be crude. It doesn't have to.
I was gonna say it will at least be as crude as the series, I would imagine, because with the air slot and things on Cartoon Network, the general population of the audience is going to be probably older with Adult Swim and stuff. So if you keep it at least as mild as the TV show, would you be interested in a movie of that appropriate ratedness, or do you want a little bit grittier?
Yeah, I guess the thing that comes to my mind is just the cussing.
Right.
That's the only thing that, like, and you like Rick burping really through cussing is funny in itself. Yeah, and it's almost funnier with the beeps from watching on television. Right. But like, I don't know if it's going to be as well received if it's PG, because like I just think the idea of it is just more adult.
Right.
And it's not disguised as a kids show. I think it's very clear that it's an adult show.
Right. But like,
are enough people who are adults, who are 17 and over, going to flock to the theaters to watch this movie? Yeah. I will be there. Yeah, so if nothing else, we will be there.
Definitely.
Live streaming from the theater.
We'll make a couple
a live review
about it.
We'll
even go to Australia if we have to see it. If they only release it in Australia, we'll get our Fleeb juice and we'll go.
I'm out of here, dude.
We'll watch it.
You already have the Fleeb juice. If you release the movie in Australia, I'm gone.
I'm down under, baby.
Yep, literally. That's it. Call me the Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, that's awesome.
So like I said, it's really just a matter of, what angle do they want to go for, and is it going to be profitable for everybody around? Yeah. And you said animation is, most profitable in that sense too, because I think they also still have a big hand in the process of making the shows. Right. So, who's to say that they don't need to outsource or get a big production company?
Because it's not like a regular movie. They don't have to have actors and stuff. It really is the same team of people working in the same studio, doing what they've done. And we all know how long we've painstakingly waited for all the seasons that have been to come since the first, and all the speculation and pain of the wait in it getting here. The talks of a movie means if they're pulling Post-its out of a shoebox right now, it's still 18 months away.
Easily. Yeah.
It's still a long ways away.
I don't expect anything to happen in the near future, especially since they signed, the big 50, 60, 70
I can
episode
honestly
deal.
see them. Here's what if they are potentially splitting season 4 so they can split the workload on different stuff, and then after they get done with the second half of season 4, they're going to go back to working on the movie and release that instead of season 5, and then save season 5 for next year. Could you see an ending to season 4 in 2020 with a Rick and Morty movie at the end of the year and then season 5? Would a Rick and Morty movie hold you over instead of season 5? With all the delay we've been having, because clearly the production of the movie would take up time for the writers and producers to make the series.
Yeah, and I think realistically, I guess I'm a very patient person.
Right. Exactly.
I'm going to wait for whatever. I mean,
and
take the time that they need.
It's going to take them more time.
And if it's going to be, it's all about quality.
I don't want an incomplete game on release day. I don't want
something that's going to be half done. And I think in terms of the episodes, I do think that Dan and Justin and the creators themselves, the producers, are perfectionists. Yeah. And I do think if there are imperfections in the episode, even up to the recording of the voice acting,
right,
they're going to scrap it and go back to phase 1.
Yeah, so some of the behind the scenes footage of like Justin recording voice outtakes and stuff, you can tell like with as many takes as they do and stuff, they might take something 30 times, but they'll find the one that they really like or keep doing them until they like that one.
And as like random as we want to talk about, or how random the story be or the other plot points are, I still think that they, the people at the top of this production are still envisioning a finished episode in their head.
Right.
And if what they have that's growing is not finished or does not match that vision, they're like, nope, scrap it.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
It's admirable for sure.
It's cool to have that creative control for sure, especially in a day where you do not own anything that you make. But at the same time, it's costly because you run the risk of losing some of your fan base, losing interest in some of your fans.
Yeah. And something I've heard, I forget the lead singer of Tame Impala, Kevin something. But he talked about in an interview about how some of the early Tame Impala albums came because of the ordered due date of the record company.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I need this album by this date, and if there would not have been a creative deadline for him to complete the album in, he said I would keep doing stuff to it. I would keep tweaking songs. I'd keep adding parts. Like creatively, when it comes to any kind of expression or medium, you have to set out with the goal to create something, but also know when to call it done or scrap it or throw the project away. Because
and that's like,
it's hard.
It gets subjective after that point because you're like, when is it done?
Exactly. That's the art of entertainment, is that people don't like stuff because it's a certain thing, but it doesn't matter because if it's entertainment, it was made for you, but chances are the person making it wasn't thinking of you.
Yeah.
So that's why art crosses into this weird field with entertainment. That's like, it's up to impression, but it's also up to artists, because things can be perceived numerous ways, but it's really what am I trying to get across with this series or with what I'm making? Yeah. So if you're in a writer's room and you are Justin and Dan and you just don't like what you've made, you're gonna scrap the shit. You're not gonna give you're not gonna give Cartoon Network or a studio something you half-assed, because they don't half-ass their shit, because it's not the kind of artists they are. And that's really just how I feel about them as creators, because I've created shit that I never finish, and I know if I would have pulled the trigger on some of the things that I would, have shit hanging on my wall I haven't finished, it's like, that's the thing I almost finished. It never gets to fruition if you never finish it. It doesn't
complete you as a person.
And nobody had a deadline on it. It wasn't commissioned work. It was just me like, doo-doo-doo.
And the thing is I love about that is that I feel like they're genuine creators.
Right.
They are not doing this because Cartoon Network or Adult Swim has the standard that they want to set.
Pressing them for do episodes.
I firmly believe that they're like, this is what we want to happen.
Right.
And this is what we're going to do. And Adult Swim's like, you got it. Yep.
Take
it.
If
that's admirable on Adult Swim's part too.
Yes.
I don't know if it's contractual or not, but like they're like, yeah, balls in your court. You let us know when you want to make the shot, and we'll make it happen.
I think, and that's why I think the creation of movies and TV and video games and entertainment and stuff, all weirdly, despite how different they are, they all come down to the same kind of endorsement when it comes to publishers and stuff. It's like, if something is good enough and the idea is there, some company or network or something will give you all that money, and we're reaching a point where the fan base that these kinds of series and stuff are garnering is giving those companies that are endorsing artists enough time and a relaxed environment to create it, because they understand the obligation of, if we give them the money and rush them, we're SOL. It is no use in trying to give somebody money and trying to get rich and then have them rush the whole thing, because then you don't understand the art of crafting, the art of artistry, because everything takes time if you want it to be good, and if you want it to be good, you gotta wait just a little bit until the people creating it are willing to share it with you.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and that's really what it boils down to in terms of like, is it going to be susceptible to people or not?
Because they won't release it if they don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing, I guess one thing that kind of came to my mind when it comes to like streaming and releasing it through a platform like that, so I guess talking about how stuff is released, and if it, there's hype built around something that's getting released via streaming. The hype is very real. So I'm thinking of Stranger Things, for example. The new season of Stranger Things, which is the 3rd season. It's on Netflix.
Okay.
The hype around it was so huge. And the hype's already building for season 4, and it's crazy.
I was going to say, yeah.
It's huge. And then it drops, and then like a week later, no one is talking about it.
And when
I honestly think it's because, here you go.
Netflix all at once. Yeah.
Have it. Here it is. And then the people are like, okay.
The attention span and attitude of the viewing audience of people on Netflix when they do those series binges, it's like, in my opinion, it does, that's why I haven't watched Mandalorian yet. I'm not huge into Star Wars. It's on my watch list, but I haven't watched it, but I do know that they released it episodically. Like, Disney made the conscious choice to release it episodically, because do yourself a favor and milk that shit for a minute,
So like think of it like 6, 7, 8 weeks, however long. I think it's 8 episodes.
Yeah.
People were talking about it all for 8 weeks plus, and people are still talking about it.
And that's part,
Stranger Things 3 was summertime last year, perfect time to put out something.
Yeah.
All 10 episodes dropped, 8 or 10 episodes were dropped, and then it's just like,
and that's interesting.
Deflation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, since we're talking about it, it interests me because if you have Hulu has a lot of agreements with a lot of TV networks, CBS, NBC, stuff like that. And sometimes on Hulu, Family Guy will air one night, or it used to. I don't know if it still does. I know it does shortly after. But after it airs on live TV, then it's on Hulu. Mm-hmm. I don't think Netflix has those kind of endorsements, but it makes me wonder if there's any information on if it is entirely Netflix's decision to mass drop that stuff, or is that part of the contracted agreement? Because nothing comes to mind when I think of episodic installments released on Netflix.
Yeah, I can't.
I can't think of anything that's been milked the way they did.
I feel like there is something, and I don't remember.
Black Mirror? I don't know. No, I don't know if that came out in episodes. It still did series.
And so even like going back to like if you're looking at movies, so like The Irishman, got dumped on Netflix. It's an Oscar-nominated movie.
Yeah,
and it was released in theaters too for I think a limited time. El Camino, the Breaking Bad sequel movie.
Oh wow!
Was just thrown up on Netflix.
And that's
and the hype for me, especially because I love the series, was like at the all-time high, and I watched it. I'm like, cool. And then I forgot about it, and I think everybody kind of forgot about it. And I think the one thing you have when you're in the theaters, like you have that marketing, you have the thing to tell people like, hey, this is still in theaters. You can go see it. And for, 6 to 8 weeks, however long it is, it's all still there. And it's still like an event that if you haven't been to, you should go. And if you have been to, you should.
Energy and excitement of the entertainment to get out of your house, to go do it. It definitely does play a role for people like you and I who almost sentimentally consume our media. It's an added element that you're pleased if it comes up on Netflix too, but you really realize what it's lacking if you consume it that way. Mm-hmm. But only if you were really conscious of the way you consume your entertainment. Which part, I think we both talked in depth about before. Part of the reason that we're doing this podcast, and we did another one prior to the Rick and Morty series, is like our generation and people our age. I'm gonna be 29 this year. Jeff's 28 still, right? Mm-hmm. 28. We're of a generation that consumes our entertainment and media differently, and in a new way along with the industry, because like our parents didn't buy albums and like buy digital music and stuff like that. Like the way we consume our entertainment is absolutely changing the way people bring it to us. And I don't want to get off on a whole diatribe, but
that's it. So I guess bottom line, the Rick and Morty movie.
Yeah.
Would it do well on Netflix? Would it entice people to watch it? Would it be good?
Yeah. Or would you rather have it in a movie form with a theater with the hype built behind it? Because
rated R.
Yeah. Or PG-13. Would you be cool? Would you be cool with a G-rated Rick and Morty?
The answer to that is yes. Absolutely.
Right? Yes, I really would.
So I guess the only other thing I have to just really discuss with that is the storyline. What would happen in the movie? Would it be canonical?
Right.
And when you talk about canon and we talk about things that are actually going along with the story, it's so vague nowadays because it's not just. I mean, once again, it kind of goes along with there's only one medium that we look at things. But Rick and Morty, I feel like because it's a sci-fi series, there could be so many different outlets and different mediums to the story that people can contribute to. So like the comics, there's different writers and things that contribute stories. And the number one thing I hate, like when people ask, like either online or something, like, is this canon?
And that's what we were going to talk about too. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I mean, does it matter? Are we going to enjoy it the same way? Like I kind of look at basically anything that's through Adult Swim, through the TV show. I look at this is this is it. This is the canon universe.
By the
this
creators,
is what, and anything else is kind of supplement. So the comics or anything else, kind of like the one-offs.
Is Krispy Kreme canon?
Is Krispy Kreme canon now in the Rick and Morty universe? And I when I think about that, I think about like there'll definitely be a Krispy Kreme commercial in season 4.
Right.
They're trying, they're just like Rick going to like, we gotta go to Krispy Kreme like, in the show like he did with the DS.
Right.
We gotta go to the Nintendo DS, the limited edition Zelda ones. Nintendo, give me free stuff. That's, and
so
you think about
awesome.
that, that's what I just keep thinking about. And we're definitely gonna see a Krispy Kreme commercial, which is dope. Yeah. I can't wait for that.
Well, personally, what do you consider the Rick and Morty? Just what Adult Swim releases? Is that your headcanon?
Nothing. Yeah, I didn't say the word headcanon is kind of I guess I'm indifferent to that term also.
Right.
It's just not something that I think about a lot. I guess when I enjoy a story, I try to just enjoy what it is trying to say.
Right, yeah. As a fan of different things that have different mediums of consuming them, like music and comic books and stuff, I am entirely okay with non-canonical creation series stuff, because in my headcanon, everything that's together, I just like any nonfiction, just like any fiction that I watch on TV or whatever it is, I can suspend disbelief enough within whatever I'm consuming and sideline what's not relevant and not be disappointed. Like, it'd be one thing if something came out and it completely disregarded all the rest of it, but as long as it's entirely within the same setting and quote-unquote universe, if it's not canon, it doesn't bother me, as long as it's not done poorly. And I don't know with trademarks and all kinds of stuff like that, fanfics and fanfics are one thing, but I'm really okay with it being, if it's not canon, I'm okay with it, but I can't see how it wouldn't be with the universe they created now. So
yeah. And honestly, the two terms that stuck out during just now with you was headcanon and disappointment.
Yeah, right?
There are so many people out in the world that have a headcanon, and when something does not match their headcanon, they are disappointed.
Right.
And I'm just not sure with Rick and Morty with how creative it is, and the story B generator, which could be so out there.
Right.
Is there a way for you to be disappointed with this show? And I don't think
what if
there
it's
is.
a whole movie of B generators? Just a whole movie. No plot.
Interdimensional cable.
Yes,
that's exactly what that is.
The movie.
I would watch it.
I'd watch it.
And like I said, I'm just not sure if there is a way.
Even though we said we would watch it, there would be flocks of audiences that would be disappointed that this was what they made as a Rick and Morty movie if that's what they made. That no matter what they release, someone's going to be mad about it because it's not going to be their headcanon of what they thought it would be. Some people probably think the Rick and Morty movie should be a parody take on Back to the Future. With the portal gun and everything. I'm sure some people are like, they didn't pay homage to what its real origin story and stuff. And it's like the number of things you could be mad about would be endless. Do yourself a favor and don't expect much.
Yeah, and that's once again, this is what I have in my head the Rick and Morty movie to be.
Right.
And this is why I'm disappointed.
Right.
Like come on, man.
Yeah, don't do that to yourself.
And I guess maybe that's just me being an open person, but like, if it's funny, if it's interesting, would you watch a 90-minute Rick and Morty just adventure?
Right.
Like, is that what you wanted? I would watch it.
Yeah, definitely.
I can't envision myself being disappointed in any light with the movie.
Yes, it's same here. And more so than worried about being disappointed, I will be disappointed if it doesn't get made, to be honest.
There you go.
As that no matter what it comes to, no matter what it's about, I'll kind of be like, damn, Rick and Morty never made a movie.
Yeah.
That's how
the only realm of disappointment comes from no content at all.
Exactly. and yeah, it's just it's funny to think about in such relevant short amount of time. Just one series that has been able to gain traction in so many markets, but it sheds light on the fast pace of the way we obsess about it and consume it. And I'm just glad the content isn't stopping from them with comic books, with endorsements and stuff like that.
You think about the big franchises and how dry they went without any content for something, and I'm just glad we live in a world where this is celebrated.
Yeah.
We have content that's celebrated.
It's encouraged.
And it's creative. Like I said, the big word here is creative. It's something that we will not find anywhere else.
Yeah.
I think it's a level of creativity that's so unique, and it's so in its own spectrum, which makes you wonder, can it survive a 90-minute feature?
Right.
I think so, personally. I just, critically, I mean, Rick and Morty hasn't really been one to try and wow or dash critics, but like, critically speaking, like on Rotten Tomatoes, what's the Rotten Tomatoes score of the Rick and Morty movie?
And that's, the fact that what you just said made me think, back to, what is it, Roger and Ebert or whatever,
Yeah.
like the cinema industry and the industry of film has such a long-standing, critically acclaimed audience. Like, you know, the reviewers and stuff. It's like the New York Times bestseller list is the equivalent of Roger and Ebert rating list, is the equivalent of the Kelley Blue Book list on your car and stuff.
These are
it's
movies you need to be watching.
Yeah, like
or you're an idiot.
Yeah, in our culture, we have these sources of reference that we go to if it's not our friends to get in a pre-opinion on something
What's
that
the
we're
word?
kind of
You know what I mean?
interested
Like,
in.
what are people talking about?
Yeah, so
and if they are talking about it, why?
Yeah, word of mouth will pique your interest most often, but after that, it will be whatever opinion you're exposed to first and who you ask it where it comes from. So that's interesting to me, that how it could be received afterwards, because, you know,
I think
there's going to be some idiot who reviews movies, has never seen Rick and Morty, and be like, this movie was terrible.
What do you think, Heather? I mean, when's the last time you saw an R-rated animated movie? The only thing that comes to my mind right now off the top would be like Sausage Party.
Didn't that break some records because it
that,
was
like 3D animated? Yeah. People thought it was a kid's movie.
What comes to mind for me is, only because I watched it during a weird period of like a month or two, is Spawn. You remember Spawn? I think it was on
the
HBO.
Animated movie?
It was on HBO. Yeah. That was HBO, not theater.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, except for like a dark comic movie. Again, I'm trying to think of like other R-rated.
A true cinema release, yeah. Like
I said, Sausage Party being the 3D animated, that was R-rated. People thought it was.
I can't think of
movie.
any other ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a new realm of territory that they could be adapting it. But like,
and with Deadpool, it was a big deal that Deadpool went R because, you know, you're negating
rated R.
So that's definitely,
and people thought that was a kid's movie. Like, there's complaints, you know, mothers bringing their kids and like,
right,
this is a comic movie. Like, yeah, but
to me, dude, we could film a whole. I could film a solo podcast about like the psychological philosophy behind ratings, bro. Like, get out of my house.
Psychological behind ratings, starring Isaac Mason. yeah.
You know, like, I'll just put a bird right there.
Yeah, just
It's like ratings are so arbitrary, man. Like, but
like even then, like whatever. I mean, if you are a parent and you're going to a movie and it's a rated R movie, you probably got carded before and you brought your child to this movie,
right?
Or if these complaints are real, like, are these people, like, this is a real thing and not like internet made up, you know, lower fatigue, whatever.
Exactly.
You know, if you are actually a parent and went to a rated R movie thinking it was going to be acceptable for your child,
6-year-old.
Come on, bro.
Dude, yeah, like no one is sorry for you. You're wasting all of it.
I feel like I read about that all the time, but I don't know if it's fake or not. It could be fake. You know, the internet's a wild west.
But like you said, what also amazes me is just like
how are you that clueless, dude? How are you that gullible?
Yeah, the sheer audacity of people thinking that they can do those things and not be offended. It's like, I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like, also, like, in the age of the internet, where literally every answer you ever needed is literally right in front of you behind your Facebook app. If you're looking at what you're like, I think about just parents letting their kids watch Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
And honestly, it could be a lot worse for where it's at on television, you know, and it's like I said, it's bleeped out. We still have some kind of, you know, ceiling where we don't cross. But like South Park, Family Guy, whatever, Rick and Morty, like, if you're letting your kids watch it, is there not like a thought that pops in your head, like, maybe I shouldn't, or maybe let me check what this show is about? Like, come on.
The fact that you said that made me think right now, I would take a stab in the dark and bet $5 that 75% of the Netflix and Hulu audience at large in family household settings has no parental controls on their streaming services.
Yeah.
So if it's not about watching it on Cartoon Network, if the household that has the streaming, you know, Hulu, Rick and Morty does have Hulu, and if you don't have parental controls on those things, your kid will get exposed to it anyways. So in that consideration, the parental element is removed out of it. But there's a certain ignorance that comes along with exposing and leaving those kinds of things to be consumable for your child. And if you're getting mad about it, you're the bad parent.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, people get upset.
It's your
like,
fault. You're the one you should be mad at.
This is like a tale as old as time.
Right.
The parents get mad at a show that's, you know, obtuse for children.
Yeah. It's like, you shouldn't have bought the TV. I'm sorry.
Well, then,
like, why
are you participating in society?
Poke the hole in your
plot. But like, you know, the parent is so upset. This show is not for children. Yeah.
Duh.
Wait. Duh. Yeah, and I feel like it's a lot of people are just like, yep, I know.
Drive by. Duh.
Yeah, there it is. That was a good one. So yeah, and I guess in short, the Rick and Morty movie I'm copywriting it right now.
Right.
So I have to get paid for royalties when that happens. The Rick and Morty movie.
Write it down in a letter and mail it to yourself. That's how you can.
There is not a release date. There was no other talk other than Dan Harmon himself sneaking it in his Instagram, just enough to get the fans going about it. And we're going about it.
Yes.
So any thoughts, please drop them to us. We'd love to read your replies, your comments.
Check us out on all of our, we're on the big four now. Double check that. Also,
drop us a line. Let us know what you think. If we are ignorant and stupid and you hate every comment and opinion that we have, let us know.
Yeah.
We want to have a talk about it.
But constructive criticism. If you don't like it, give us what you do like so we can do that. Because honestly, I don't care if you don't like us. I just want you to enjoy what you watch. You're wasting time watching this if you watch this whole thing and didn't like it. I feel bad for you now.
I think that's the only that's the the best I guess that's the internet for you. You're watching things you hate because you hate them.
What are you doing? Yeah.
And if you hate them, I don't know, just tell me.
Tell
me about it. We'll talk
all good.
About it.
We hope you like this though. We hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. And if you're not watching Rick and Morty right now, what are you watching? Are you revisiting some Dan Harmon stuff? Are you revisiting some Justin Roiland stuff? Is there something new you're super excited about? Let us know. Drop us a line.
If we're wrong about something, let us know.
Let us know. Do fact check us, guys. We'll never learn anything if you never fact check anyone or held them accountable. Yeah. We're not here to clickbait you or blow smoke up your ass.
We're just here to talk about it.
Right.
We're just here to talk about Rick and Morty. We like Rick and Morty, and we like talking.
Exactly.
And we're combining both things. Something cool is coming up in the future episodes. I was recently in a Goodwill store.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yes, and I went back to the toy section just randomly, and honestly, it depends on where you go with the Goodwill toys. Come on.
Right.
You find like an operation with no pieces, just the board.
Yeah.
Still in box, but it's
art.
Just the board. Yeah, it honestly is. That's where you go. Honestly, the Goodwill toy section should be called obscure art pieces.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're making a weird art project for school, this is where you find all those
abstract
pieces.
Art section.
Bingo. So anyway, I walked in and I found this box, and I thought it was just a box, but then I opened the box in the Goodwill and realized this is a complete set. So go ahead and take this thing out. We're going to be launching this segment into the podcast here shortly. We're going to be growing the Rick and Morty Chia Pet Rick. We are going to start it today, hopefully, and then keep you an update of the process. We're going to get a Chia Pet Rick update, and let's get a pic of it, and let's just see how it goes. You got the chia seeds. Literally complete. It might have been $5. Best deal in town. So, the Rick and Morty Chia Pet.
Rick and Morty's so popular, it's already in Goodwill.
Bingo, yeah, exactly. So that's it.
Rick and Morty failed as a series, I hate it.
Yeah, that's it. This now turns into a Rick and Morty hate. But see, that's what I'm saying. We're saying all these nice things about the show.
Right.
Well, how can we be disappointed in all this creativity? And then the second half of season 4 comes out, totally tanks. It is the worst crap ever. And we're like, man, we said all those nice things about you guys. And then you totally turned our opinions into lies.
Down on ourselves.
Somehow, our opinions became lies to the people and to ourselves.
I thought I knew myself.
Headcanon, disappointment. That's it. Those are my 2 new favorite words. But yeah, so the Chia Pet Rick is going to happen. I'm pretty excited. But we're also going to be doing some giveaways on the next episode. Right. We're going to be buying some Rick and Morty stuff to give away to great people.
Definitely.
Why not?
Why not? If you want to be in the contention for that, give us a follow, subscribe,
Yeah, we're going to do like maybe a contest, I don't know, probably Twitter. Twitter's a good outlet for that kind of thing.
How about this? If you're one of our first listeners of the 10 subscribers, those will be the people we potentially raffle off to.
Yeah. First 10 subscribers.
Something like that.
Raffled at 10. That's it. There just needs to be 10 of you. Yeah, you'll be entered in.
I'm already 1 follower.
So I think he's already in the. This is your competition right here.
I'm not going to take it, so I'll take myself out of the running. So there's 8 of you who could have something really cool. But we're going to try and do all kinds of things to keep you guys entertained and keep you tuned in, because I know I hold some of the channels and things that I listen to for entertainment in high regard. It'd be cool if we could be that for somebody. Your weekly or whatever. Tune in, listen to something, kick back, and just enjoy the conversation. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
And if you want to talk, let's talk.
Right.
Speaking of channels that we hold in high regard,
right?
Let's give a couple shout-outs to other fellow Rick and Morty podcasters that you could be listening to also.
If you want more to listen to, check out.
Yeah, they have great opinions too, and they love talking about it. They have, pretty high-quality stuff going on out there.
Exactly.
Other Rick and Morty podcasts. The official Rick and Morty podcast companion is on YouTube.
Okay.
At least for season 4, they had a podcast companion for each episode. Mm-hmm. So check that out, obviously. The Squanch is on Wisecrack. That is a dope podcast name and a dope podcast. So that's a 2-for-1 special.
Yes.
On the Wisecrack podcast network. Another great name, Rickle Me This, is a fantastic name for a podcast. If you I thought the Portal Gun was okay.
Yeah.
Rickle Me This is hilarious. That is great. Also, Ricksplained is on Podtail. are also out there. Rick and Morty Minute, which, as we talked about before, goes through premise. Each minute of every episode, and they kind of dissect it and what this minute means.
If you really like in-depth stuff, that's your corner.
What a great idea.
But it's longer than 1 minute. The episodes are longer.
The episodes are longer than 1 minute, yes. But they do dissect each minute of each episode, which is awesome. That's such a great idea. I wish we thought of that.
Right.
We like to dissect.
Maybe we'll do it anyways.
We like to unnecessarily dissect things.
Exactly.
Could be very successful doing it.
Yeah.
And then... obviously, last but not least, is going to be Interdimensional RSS, which is the unofficial Rick and Morty podcast. I don't say unofficial as a negative connotation. I think that's what they call themselves. RickandMortyPod.com is going to be them. Great podcast. They have a great look. It's just high quality.
Right.
Just good stuff. Rick and Morty content is out there for you to listen to. If you are starving for the episodes, there is plenty to hold you over in the meantime.
Definitely. And if you find worthwhile news that we are not aware of yet, or segments you want to share with us, send it our way.
Or if you have your own Rick and Morty podcast.
Right, yeah, definitely. Let us know if there's something we don't know about yet.
Let's listen to it.
Yeah.
I want to talk about it.
That sounds awesome, man. Well, I'm glad we got this episode recorded. If you guys notice, we are not Skyping on a desktop right now. We have we
are live in person.
Yeah. We can't promise every episode from here on out will be like this, but we did this for quality reasons and just because we had the time.
Let's try it out. Yeah.
Exactly. If you guys like this better, let us know. It should definitely be a little easier on your ears and eyes. And hopefully I'll be able to edit in all the cool stuff in post, so you'll see things like this. What is it called? Dick butt? That little drawing of the stupid thing.
Oh,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite little doodles of the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, YouTube. We're on the Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Portal Gun Podcast. This has been episode 3. I'm Jeff Wilson.
I'm Isaac Mason.
And see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you.
I gotta stop doing that.
Yeah. See you next.